The biggest mistake that buyers make. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up. Yes, I have to say, good morning.
Good morning, Lisa Novak.
Good morning. Oh, we've got a fly or something in the car. There is a definite pattern with the mistake. Oh, did you get it?
I think so.
That's from your scout days, I reckon, Mark.
No, that was from my Karate Kid days.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to be able to catch it with a chopstick.
Oh, did you?
But as I got older, my reflexes got little bit less.
And the
like
sight.
Mr. Miyagi kept it up, but I didn't.
And the sight went. But there's a definite pattern of, you've been in real estate for a very, very long time, Mark.
264 years.
Yeah. So, but there is a definite mistake, not a mistake, but there's a definite pattern that I see working in sales, transacting a lot of properties that buyers make. And I would have to say one of them, and we're going to break this down this morning for you guys, but one of them is the lack of speed and communication between the buyer and the real estate agent. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see that buyers make when they're looking to secure a property and they don't get a property. And the other is not following the lead of the real estate agent. I think a lot of buyers think that the real estate agent's going to lead them into this deep, dark place and that we're just trying to do a hard sell. But we always have to act in the best interests of our vendors. Following the lead of a great, experienced real estate agent is going to be a really, really great piece of advice that I'm going to add to this segment. Wouldn't you say?
Yep. I wouldn't disagree with my wife.
What else have you got to say on the topic, Mark?
My one that I see with purchases is the reluctancy to actually make the purchase that people have easily got the capacity. And I can see from a mile away who can afford to buy something easily, and they never do. They've got the income, they've got the savings.
Yeah.
And I can have I'm thinking about one discussion I had yesterday. I've been talking with this young gentleman for probably 8 to 10 years. From day one, he had the capacity to purchase, has a wonderful business from day one. And I just thought to myself, like, if he just got in and purchased that property, he, like, what I find is he was always thinking, this particular areas, particular type of property, particular. Whereas if he lowered his expectations and just looked at it as an engine to move him into the dream of what's in his mind, he would have been up $300,000.
Wow.
And it wouldn't have cost him much at all. I don't think I dare to say nothing along the way. With the way he would have had negative gearing, he would have had rent coming in, and I do have to say he just felt like he had so much going on in business and in life. At every single point that I spoke to him, always agreed with him. He's like, "Yep, I got to do it. Yep, I got to do it. I know it's really important, but X, Y, Z, but A, B, C, D." But there was always something different. So I think that just putting stuff off for later, just dangerous.
Not only that, but I think a lot of buyers, believe that they've got to spend an enormous amount of time doing their due diligence. Not to say that if you're a buyer and you're watching this, you should not do your due diligence. You absolutely should. But a lot of buyers don't realise there's actually two ways you can purchase a property. One is, and I reckon I explain this. In fact, I'm going to do a video on it because a lot of buyers don't realise, a lot of sellers don't realise there's two ways that you can purchase, the two most common ways. One is with what we call a 5-day cooling off period. So you put down a 0.25% deposit of the agreed purchase price, and we exchange the contracts on what's called a 5-day cooling off period.
Yeah.
5 business days. Now, what's the 5 business day cooling off period for? It's so that you can do your due diligence, so that you can get your contract reviewed by your solicitor or conveyancer, so that you can formalise your finances. A lot of buyers are walking around with pre-approvals, and the banks or the lenders want to see that exchanged contract of sale before they go giving their formal approval.
Yes.
The other one is during that duration of time, you get your pest and building reports done, or you get that reviewed. You get a strata report reviewed. So they're the main things, and then you pay the balance of your deposit during that 5-day cooling off period. They're the main things that cooling off period is for. The other way is what we call unconditional. That's where it's assumed
Like
that
love.
it's like love, that's right. So it's where, it's assumed that you have already had your contract reviewed by your solicitor or conveyancer, you've done all your due diligence, and you've got your unconditional approval.
Yes.
You put down your deposit, usually 5% these days, and we exchange unconditionally with what's called a Section 66W from the purchaser's conveyancer or solicitor. Where I see things again just go a little bit pear-shaped with buyers is they get all that due diligence done and then they put their offer in. I had this yesterday, and the buyer really, he almost missed out on a property. I had 3 bidders there, or three people putting offers in, and he was like, "Oh, my conveyance is not available. I want them reviewing the strata report." And I'm like, "Listen, you're doing things. You're putting the carriage before the horse. You'll have time to do that due diligence. Get your offer in first." So speed and convenience, I find, is actually the best way forward when you are trying to secure a property.
I've got a real beef with my one that I'm talking about today.
Yeah.
I'm really angry about it.
With what?
People procrastinating on purchasing.
Yep.
That's my biggest beef with what buyers don't do.
You're saying buyers do
They
procrastinate?
just,
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
They don't do it. They don't do it. They procrastinate. And I got to say, and I don't mean to talk it up, but I've done good from property, real good. The first property I bought when I was 18, still own it. Second property I bought when I was 19, still own it. Third property I bought at 20, still own it. And kept up a pattern of buying properties and not selling them. When people talk with me about buying something,
Yeah.
I got it's this simple, guys. I find that operating table, doctor, people want to get on the operating table. That operating table is the doctors are the real estate agent. The doctors are these days even the most important doctor, the broker. The doctors are the accountants. There's like 4 doctors around the operating table to buy a property, and accountant, broker, real estate agent, solicitor, conveyancer.
Yeah.
And what I find is people are very reluctant to walk up to the table and lie on the table. And where the magic really happens is when you're willing to stay on the table if the operation's not a success. And what I mean by that is a buyer will go, yeah, nah, and then they may ring a broker and it sort of doesn't work out, doesn't happen. And I wanted to give a real life example today. At the moment, the art of purchasing a property is financing the property. It's not particularly the property.
Could not agree more.
Right? It's not particularly
Couldn't agree
the
more.
type of property you buy, or the suburb or district you buy in, the asset class, the type of property class that you're buying in, the price point. It's just plain old getting the money. And I had some brokers, some weapon brokers, sitting with me on Wednesday, and these guys do the big end of town. A lot of the developers in town will use these guys. Super, super smart. And what I liked is when I sat opposite him, he brought me this product. And again, I put myself on, I think I know, I know that funding side pretty well. But I submitted and I put myself on the operating table and I listened to them. They had this product here, which I thought was very, very cool. Can you see this? Have a good look at it, kids. And if you want to ring me up and ask me for it or message me for it. And the reason I'm putting this here is if you've got an ABN, and you've had it for a year, you can buy in the company name, and they do not look at your current assets and liabilities as a person.
Yeah.
So they don't look at what you own, what you don't own. They don't look. So all of that personal liability is off the table, because where a lot of people are falling short with funding at the moment is they can't get the loan. They can't get the loan because the bank looks at their house they own. They go, no, you know, you're in a little bit deep. But when you look at this funding and the way these guys structure it, 7.2% to 8%, that's about the interest rate. 20% deposit down, and they look at it's called a low doc loan, and people thought low doc loans died 2, 3, 4 years ago. Bottom line, if you put yourself on that table, you will get the loan. You look really bored just then.
No, I'm just, yeah, because you've gone into talking about the finance thing. But it is a big part of, and Mark seems to lose me when he starts talking numbers, but it is a huge part of of being a buyer. And we are always, oh, absolutely. No, no.
Getting a loan, not getting a loan.
Actually, I wasn't bored. Someone walked past and I was just having a look if he was walking up to our car.
I didn't.
I thought it was the police.
I didn't know that you had the capacity to buy a property.
Yeah.
And they don't look, because a lot of people, when you're assessing people at 10%, which is what banks are doing at the moment, because say the rate's 6 or 7%, they put 3% on top. A lot of people don't qualify to get the loan, but you do qualify if you have an ABN.
But I have to, and it is interesting. It is interesting. I know.
The brokerage, good guys.
Yeah, they are good guys.
Weapon.
I do want to say though that a lot of buyers are walking around with their pre-approvals, and they think they've got all the time in the world. And I see that buyers play this thing called the waiting game, and they're always waiting for something. So this is a huge amount of buyers that I deal with, and they go, oh, we're just going to wait because of the pandemic. We're just going to wait because of the interest rates. We're just going to wait because there's more stock coming on the market. We're just going to wait because of the mortgage cliff. What a lot of buyers don't realise, as Mark said, is this is a numbers game. And if you've got your finance approved, you should be going out and you should be buying property. Because the biggest mistake, one of the biggest mistakes that I see buyers make, is they let the pre-approval lapse and then they go, oh, that's okay. We're just going to go back and just get the loan reinstated again. And the lender goes, that's fine. Where you had $1 million to spend, now we're just going to give you $800,000. And then the market went up, their loan capacity went down, and all of a sudden they're out of the market. And, the house that they thought that they were going to buy all of a sudden became a 2-bedroom apartment because that's all they could afford. The other thing is that buyers come through and they're looking to tick 10 out of 10 boxes. They believe in love at first sight, and they think that the property that they walk into, they've got to feel it, and it's got to be absolutely perfect, and it's got to face the right way and have views and have a big outdoor area and massive bedrooms and tick, 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 tick. I just want to say, guys, in all the transactions I've ever done, I have never had any buyer walk into any property and go, this is the property that we love. We absolutely have to have it. So I shouldn't say never. It has happened once or twice in my entire career. But does it happen ordinarily? No. There's no light bulb moment. And I'm always saying, if it ticks 7 of your 10 boxes, you actually found the perfect property.
Yeah, and again, back to that funding side of it, and supporting what you're saying with, say, for instance, first home buyers. People don't realise that you can get the first home buyer incentive. You don't have to live in the property in that first 12 months. You've got to live in that property within 12 months. It's a trick. So what you can do is you can have it rented out for the first 6 months.
Well,
3
and if there's a tenant already in there,
11 months,
the tenancy stays in
leave
place.
the tenant in, get on top of the mortgage, get used to it, then moved in. Now, what not a lot of people realise either is that first home buyers can actually get the first home buyer incentive, enjoy the property, and then rent it out. So the property doesn't have to be the perfect place to live. You just whack a tenant in there after you've triggered the first home buyer staying there long enough, and then you just go and rent what you want.
Yeah.
Live how you want.
The other thing, guys, that I do want to point out is having a great solicitor or conveyancer on your side is an absolute golden opportunity. So last night I was trying to pull a deal together. It was about 9:45 p.m. and the vendor's solicitor was on the phone to me, and we were going through some of the contract amendments at 9:45 at night because we were ready. I was ready for my vendor in the event we were able to do this exchange very, very quickly. Unfortunately, the purchaser's solicitor wasn't available at that time of night because we could have pulled this together. So, but that is everything. A lot of solicitors and conveyancers will clock off at 5 o'clock. And that's absolutely their prerogative. But understand that that could be the difference of securing a property or not securing a property. I'm always saying to my clients, when they're looking for a great solicitor or conveyancer, they are just as important, if not more so, than finding a great real estate agent. Because a lot of solicitors and conveyancers will literally switch off at 5 o'clock. There's a landline, and that is it. We're always referring, and we don't refer easily, but we're always referring to the guys and girls that will work outside of business hours, because that is when the vast majority of our deals get done. They get done at night and they get done on the weekends. So finding a great solicitor or conveyancer is absolutely key, as is working alongside a great broker, someone who will be available to you outside of hours. I mean, I was working on this deal yesterday, Mark, from early in the morning until late last night. And again, if the purchaser's solicitor had been available, we probably would have been able to pull this together at midnight last night. We were all working.
So if you just tuned in, we're talking about the mistakes that buyers make. In conclusion, what I would say about my piece from today, I'll say it again. When you are a buyer, put yourself on the operating table. The operating table is, I'm going to purchase a property. Do not take yourself off the operating table until the job is done.
Yeah.
Submit to your doctors, which is you're a good broker. You can switch them around mid-operation if you want. A good real estate agent, a good solicitor, and a good accountant until you get that property. A lot of people I speak to, like the guy yesterday, don't get off that table, and they end up, 10 years goes by or 5 years goes by, 15, they just never end up buying anything. And they've got great excuses. They've got great excuses.
Yeah.
I couldn't get it because of that, or the COVID hit, or oh my god, the interest rates are a bit higher. They got great excuses not to buy, but at the end of the day, you didn't get the chicken.
And understand, guys, a property remains on the market until it is exchanged, right? This purchaser was saying to me yesterday, while he's taking a huge amount of time to do his due diligence and has every right to do so, all you need is another buyer to swoop in with their offer on a contract. One buyer. And I can't tell you how many times this happens, to swoop in and go, there you go, there's a signed contract. I'm ready to exchange unconditionally. Even if the dollars aren't there, make it look so easy for the vendor and go unconditional. There's the offer. I'm ready to sign an exchange immediately, and the deal is done, while that buyer is taking their time to do all of their due diligence.
Anyway, Friday Frenzy. Anything else to say before you go? HSC done this week.
The ATAS came out yesterday.
Yes.
Yep. It was an interesting experience, actually. So our youngest daughter finished her HSC. She got her ATAS. She got into her uni degree. So she's very happy. I don't know whether or not they actually marked really hard this year, but she's actually in a group of very, very smart friends. And some of them got under where they were hoping to get, but everyone got into their uni degrees, which is the main thing. But it's funny, isn't it? Because as you grow older, you realise that you actually talk about the mark for maybe a day, maybe a week, when you're 17, 18 years of age, finished your HSC, and then you don't really ever talk about it ever again.
Well, something that I said today, as an employer, I've been employing people for 20 years. I have never asked someone their HSC result.
No.
No. There's so much more aspects to a good human.
I agree. And actually, but
her daughter got a great result.
She got a great result.
We're not making excuses.
No, I was actually far more impressed, I'll be honest, about the reference that the school gave to her which was an absolutely glowing reference.
There's so much more for these.
And I read that and I was like thoroughly impressed with that. I was like, wow, that's something that you could literally put in front of an employer and get into pretty much anything you want with a glowing review like that. She did really, really well. So congratulations to everyone. No doubt there was some kids out there that were absolutely elated, and there were some kids out there that were heartbroken. I was watching some of the people were putting their reactions up on TikTok.
Yeah.
The kids when they were getting their marks. But I just want to say,
I put something on LinkedIn about being a good human, which was what I gave to my daughter. So have a look at that, because
I saw that.
I think there's ChatGPT helped me as to the eight things that round a good human, and I sent that to my daughter, and I think it's really important, guys. And guess what? It didn't say anything about the ATAR or the HSC results in that. So it's that ATAR is one of many things that makes up a great kid.
Yeah, and if you are disappointed and you're a parent that's watching this, or if you're you've just finished doing your HSC, guys, please understand it definitely does not define you. It honestly doesn't. It is a drop in the ocean in your life. I can tell you that Mark and I, we believe that we are successful in our lives, and that doesn't have anything to do with money, although we have worked hard and done very well for ourselves as a result. But I'm talking about holistically, family, friends, relationships, everything.
Kids.
Kids, without a doubt. It doesn't define you. It honestly doesn't. Some of the most successful people that we know in our lives, again, I'm not just talking about money. I think people think money, success, and they go hand in hand. Everyone defines success differently. But, failed at school. And if you just look it up and have a look at some of the most successful people in our world, they actually did fail at school. So please understand it doesn't define you, but we do hope that everyone was really happy with their results. And congratulations just on completing your schooling.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the amount of people that we see that start something, we call it walking the grey line, and then they slip off the edge. So congratulations on starting and finishing something. That's an enormous accomplishment.
12 years.
Enormous accomplishment.
Into the big world, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
And it's a marathon, it's not a sprint.
It is, absolutely. So we're now moving into the Christmas period.
Yes.
It's gotten busier.
One more week.
Hasn't gotten quieter.
Nope.
It definitely hasn't gotten quieter, but let's see what the week ahead brings. The weather's great. Make sure that you do stop to smell the roses and just, in the weeks ahead, and enjoy your time with your family and friends. That's very important.
Wow, love
that. That's it.
That's
a wrap.
Guys. Love you. See you. Bye.